Hello, and welcome back to the Marketing for Learning podcast. It's Hannah here with you today for the first time in a very long time. I have been AWOL for a little while. That's because I went off and got myself married. So I am now officially Hannah Clark, which is brilliant news for everyone, especially Ashley, who never quite got to grips with how to pronounce Wadhams. Clark is much easier to say. But I promise I won't be whittling on about my wedding in this podcast. Although if anyone wants to talk weddings, I still love talking about it. I will show you all the pictures. Just drop me a message. But today I want to talk to you all about the value proposition canvas and why I've been rethinking how I use the VPC with my clients. So typically, when I ask any kind of L&D practitioner, what's your learning product? I get a really blank face. I get a lot of ums and ahs. And then they come up with, I don't know, learning? The LMS? E-learning? Leadership training? And that's really not what our product is. Our product and our service to our audience is so much more than those one-shot answers. And if you really want to answer the what's in it for me question, the all-important question that we bang on about all the time here on the Marketing for Learning podcast, and market yourself effectively, you need to understand what your offering actually is. And the value proposition canvas helps you do just that. And if you're a loyal listener of the podcast, you might be thinking, Ham, we've spoken about this. Can't believe you're re-recording an episode. We've already done the value proposition canvas. We know it. I'm actually rethinking how I use the VPC for my clients. And I wanted to share with you my new approach to the value proposition canvas. I want to share with you why I've changed up the product side, why I've ditched features and benefits, and how I think this new approach will help you deeply understand your audience and get a better holistic view of both your offering and your audience to help you make some marketing magic. But before I go any further, those of you that haven't listened to every episode of the Marketing for Learning podcast, or perhaps have completely forgotten what the VPC is and you're thinking, I've heard that acronym, but I don't know what it means. The value proposition canvas is quite simply a framework. On one side of the page, you have your product. So for you guys, that's your learning offering. On the other side of the page, you have your audience. That might be your employees, your customers, your learners, but we're not calling them that, are we, guys? And somewhere in the middle, in the fold of this page, is where marketing magic happens. That's where you're going to find the best hooks, the best taglines, the best marketing campaigns, because it's bringing together your product and your audience. You're tapping into what you can give people and what they want. So let's look at what goes into both halves of that framework in a little bit more detail. So, on the left-hand side of our VPC, that's when we're thinking about our product or our service. And for you guys, that'll be your learning offering. And we have 3 boxes here. One is called product or service. And that's where I want you to list all of your features. It's the stuff that we overthink in L&D. We think about it far too much. We talk far too much about whether it's bite-sized, mobile, whether there's use cases in it, whether it's PDFs, whether it's classroom, all of that kind of stuff. Because it is really important that we're aware of the delivery format, essentially. We're aware of what people will be experiencing when they get to our learning platform, our LMS, our LXP, whatever it is, when they rock up to the classroom. We need to understand what they're going to get when they get there. But they're simply the features. And You really shouldn't be marketing your learning based on features. It's not going to get you anywhere. It's the other two boxes on the left-hand side of your page that's really going to be the game changer for you. The first of those two boxes is the gain creators. This box is where you consider what you are offering to your audience that is going to improve their lives, their day, their working day, the experience they have. It's the things that are going to make their lives better. For example, you could be offering them career growth, accelerated career growth, more efficiency, future-proof careers, that kind of stuff. But they're all quite generic examples because it's hard without knowing your organisation to give you some relevant examples. So let's look at an example that I did. A campaign that I recently ran with one of our clients about generative AI. In that gains creator box, I wrote things like accelerated workflows. I had a very time poor audience. So using Gen AI was going to make them more productive, make their work quicker. Huge gain creator. I also wrote about being able to have confident conversations with their clients about generative AI, which in turn meant they had happier clients. The gain of a happier client for most of this audience meant they hit their targets, they got bigger bonuses, they were more on track with their career. There's a lot of gain creators through that. And another gain creator when it comes to this Gen AI project was very much staying up to date. We all know AI is a massive hype at the moment. Everyone's talking about it, but it is changing week to week, if not day to day. So the gain creator was that we are helping you stay up to date. You don't have to put that legwork in, we're doing it for you. Alongside the gain creators, you want to think about pain relievers. That's eliminating something in your audience's life, working day, whatever it is, that troubles them. Maybe it causes them a bit of anxiety, it's a bit of a fear for them. How are we squashing them? How are we helping them overcome some of their challenges? If we go back to that Gen AI example again, some of the pain relievers we included were things like confident use of Gen AI at work. Gen AI is a bit scary. People were a bit worried about how to use it, if they were allowed to use it, that kind of thing. Also, this Gen AI campus that my client created reduced the need to do any of your own research because everything was there. It was all from the experts. It was there and ready and waiting for you. So a big pain reliever was that they didn't have to go away and do that research. They had a source that they knew and trusted. And another pain reliever we spoke about, which I could see in some of the faces of my clients, were like, Han, we're talking about Gen AI. Why are you talking about a human-based approach? But that was a pain reliever of this. The entire product was about how humans, the employees of this organisation, could use generative AI. So it was putting them front and centre. And that was a pain reliever because many people were worried about that. They were worried about, oh no, is this the bots coming to take my job? So the human-centred approach overcome that. So when we put those gain creators and pain relievers boxes together, we get a much better picture of what it actually is we're offering to our target audience. We're not offering e-learning. We're offering a way to improve your working day. We're offering ways to speed up your workflow. We're offering ways to stay up to date with latest trends and topics. That's a much more compelling offering already, isn't it? So let's look at the audience side and see how we can take this one step further. So on the right-hand side of our value proposition canvas, we're thinking about our audience. And that doesn't mean employees. It doesn't mean workers. It doesn't mean job titles. It means who these people are as human beings. They're not learners. They are humans. So we have to think about their wants, their needs, and their pain points to get a real understanding of who they are beyond their job title, beyond the fact they work for our organisation. So the first box on this side of the page is needs. And this is the stuff that our audience must have to get the job done. So maybe it's clear communication throughout the organisation. Maybe it's time and space to get the job done, time and space to learn. Maybe it's new skills, psychological safety, that kind of thing. The important thing to remember here and throughout the right-hand side of our page is we're not just thinking about learning. We're thinking about what these people need, want, or fear in all walks of life. So oftentimes in the needs box, things like a secure job or a reliable income and things like that come up because they are things that our audience needs to be able to get the job done. If somebody's worried about losing their job, they're not going to get the job done. They're going to be worried. They're going to be preoccupied. Their thoughts will be somewhere else. So we're thinking about them as a human being and what they need. The second box is their wants. And that's the things that they would like to have but don't need. So, for example, a great reputation, staying ahead of the game, being seen as an expert, that kind of thing. This box really gives an insight into the minds of your audience and what they perceive as important, what they care about, what they want you to care that they care about. For many people, they would say they need what we put in the wants. So they need to have a great reputation. There are very, very few people in the world that need to have a great reputation. You can want to have it, but you might not need to have it per se. But this wants box gives us a really strong narrative about, or a really strong way to communicate with our audience. For example, somebody that wants a great reputation, wants to stay ahead of the game and wants to be seen as an expert, well, there's a really strong reason there why they should be investing time and energy into learning, right? But then the final box on this side of the page is pain points. And this is the one that L&Ders love to ignore. They love to pretend, oh no, there's nothing there. My audience aren't worried about anything. We're only thinking happy thoughts. And that just doesn't quite work. That's not the real world. That's not the world we live in. So we need to think about the challenges that our people are facing at work, in life, in their day-to-day. So one that comes up time and time again is time poor. Our people are time poor. They are struggling to get their day jobs done. Maybe they're getting a lot of conflict in priorities. They don't know where to invest their time. Maybe they're scared of change. If we go back to that Gen AI example I gave you earlier, maybe they're scared that they'll lose their job to a robot. Maybe they're confused about what on earth Gen AI actually is. Maybe they're worried about admitting that they're confused about what Gen AI is because they feel like they're already falling behind. The pain points gives us a real clear insight into who our audience is and how we can help them. Having this deep understanding of your audience will transform the way you speak to them. You will no longer see them as employees or the finance manager. You will see them as individuals who are human beings and have a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions. And you will realise that there are ways within our marketing that we can instigate or trigger those emotions to influence people to do what we want them to do. So then what? What do we do once we've got both sides of our value proposition canvas filled out, loads of words on this page? What do we do with it? Well, we need to zoom back out and we look at it holistically. We look at the big picture to find that marketing sweet spot in between. For each and every organisation or team, that's going to be different. But trust me when I say that the VPC is going to help you get closer to a tagline, a campaign idea, a hook, anything like that that will actually work for your audience. Because not only are you looking at your product, you are looking at your audience too and seeing how the two work together. You need to use the value proposition canvas to find the red threads, the things that unite your audience with your offering. That's how you're going to answer the what's in it for me question. That's how you're going to make real marketing impact. So I hope you enjoyed my first episode back and that short and snappy episode about why I've rethought how we use the value proposition canvas in L&D. Of course, I've not just made it up in my head. I have a brand new template, which I will link in the show notes for you. Please feel free to use it and see how you can get closer to your audience and also gain a better understanding of your L&D product and what that means for your target audience. I truly believe that every single great campaign starts with a really thorough understanding of the landscape you're working in. And for me, that always means a value proposition canvas. As always, if you have any queries or questions about this episode, reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn. It's the best place to find me. And if you haven't got any questions, well then I will see you on the next podcast, guys. Bye.